We're getting very mixed reviews on the state of Meta Quest and the VR industry in 2025, from the new Meta Quest 3S seeming to have record-breaking sales, taking over the top spot as the console of choice on Amazon US, and games hitting record numbers of revenue, to developers talking about how unhappy they are that the Quest store is pushing Horizon so hard that it's burying real games, showing off and marketing individual worlds inside of Horizon as if they were actual games, and then of course multiple game studios laying off tons of workers right at the beginning of the year. A lot of people are looking for the answer as to why is this happening, what's going on in the industry, and more pointing to the free-to-play games. If you look over any of our most popular games on Quest or our top games on Quest lists, they're often full of free-to-play games, and many of them just derivations of Gorilla Tag, meaning that although the Quest itself might be selling really well, if everyone is playing free-to-play games on it, that still may mean cosmetics are selling, more money is making it into the hands of those developers in Meta. Paid games aren't keeping up anymore. Especially with Meta pushing Horizon World so hard, we saw it actually take over a top spot above Rec Room and VR Chat for the first time, but it's astounding when you look at the number of reviews free games get, like newer games even like Animal Company, versus mainstays of VR like Beat Saber that have been here for many years. Many developers were actually interviewed by Upload VR, some of them choosing to remain anonymous and some of them actually exposing who they were, and different quotes from them saying that Meta's not interested in being a gaming platform anymore. They just want to be a metaverse, and they just happen to have a legacy store. The heavy promotion of Horizon Worlds feels reminiscent of monopolistic practices. You wouldn't see Apple or Epic prioritizing their own apps this aggressively within their stores. If Meta wants developers to thrive and create sustainable businesses, they must realign the Quest store's focus. And it seems over the years here, as we've been covering it, it has been very uncertain what exactly a metaverse would look like. What does Meta want their metaverse to look like? And how do they get there? Whether it's through having multiple games in one spot, or do they just build out Horizon Worlds so far that they try and get everyone in that? Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. I'd love to continue the conversation there. And for those of you who are spending a lot of time in the Quest right now, what are you playing the most? Are you playing free-to-play games? Are you playing paid games? Are you playing mixed reality titles? We've already covered multiple layoffs and changes at VR companies since the beginning of the year, and now Dreams is closing 2 of their internal VR studios, but they are opening a new one, even taking some of the workers to its new Compass studio. Basically, they took 40 members from their 2 teams, founded a new team, and laid off the rest of the staff. And SideQuest, one of the original ways to sideload different games onto your Quest, is also laying off people too. This after we just covered that Soul Assembly was laying off 15% of its crew, Fast Travel was laying off 30 employees, and most of you probably remember when the Ready at Dawn studio shut down, which developed the big esports game Lone Echo. And it is more news like this that puts into question what exactly is happening behind the scenes in the VR industry. With more headsets selling than in the last few years, are people just not buying the games that we need to keep the industry afloat? Are they relying on free games? Or are we selling headsets but they're sitting on the shelves collecting dust? We've gone back and forth several times on whether it was a breach of privacy for Meta to allow developers to directly access what is being seen through the pass-through of the cameras, but it sounds like with new Android XR coming from Google, they're going to allow access to the pass-through camera view from day one. Meta has said before they didn't think that this was a good option, but then maybe they would allow it for certain developers as long as they were whitelisted to help them make better mixed reality experiences. But now Google has confirmed to VR developers that they will get access to the front camera view by just requesting the same camera permission as regular Android apps do. You know, those permissions that pop up on your phone that you just hit yes to hurry up and get through. MetaQuest has said that they are on the road to also give access like this, so this may become the standard of the industry, especially with Google doing it. But it's definitely something that has me leery. I am one of the types of people though who keeps my phone often face down where the cameras are hidden, and I even have a flip phone where the cameras are all on the front, so that actually does cover them all. But even just this last week, Techman was talking to me about some video he watched online that I had never Googled or looked for, and then all of a sudden it showed up on my Instagram feed, the exact video he was talking about, and something that wouldn't normally show up on my Instagram feed. It was like a fighting video. So it reminds you that, are the cameras watching? Are the microphones always listening? It does seem compelling.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Sometimes after years, we'll see a game that's had a cost like Population 1 go free to try and up the community and get more players. And the reverse, we've seen plenty of games that we've covered on free games list end up having a price later, and then I get tons of comments that, hey, that's not free anymore, especially Nightclub Simulator. Well, right now there is a mixed reality game that is free, and it's about to become $10. So now might be a good time to jump in and get that game if you're interested in it. Basically, it's a launch offer. Project Eros is free for 30 days only, but you do get to keep it after that. A game that has you battling battling spacecraft in the room around you, and has an excessive amount of warnings as the game's description. With a 4.8 star rating, a lot of people loving this game already, and something you can grab free right now if you're interested. If you caught the Super Bowl this year, you might have gotten kind of bored with how quickly one team got destroyed.
Here, hold this. Psych!
Oh, these aren't homemade. They were made in a factory. A bomb factory.
Throw the dagger. Hurts.
They're bombs.
But you might have also caught a Meta Ray-Bans ad that we told you was coming with Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth, and Kris Jenner.
Gentlemen.
It's all good, brother. I got your back. Be cool.
Thank you. I love you. There you are. Wow. Oh, man. It's a lovely home you have.
Obviously showing off some of the features of the Ray-Ban glasses and poking some fun at that art installment that was millions of dollars for a banana and duct tape.
$6.2 million. Whoa.
It's cool to see Meta getting such big names in their ads, but it does make me wonder, are they pivoting more towards the glasses this year, especially with the rumors that the new Ray-Bans this year will also have some sort of heads-up display, meaning a potential of at least some sort of augmented reality, or maybe just notifications that you can see inside of the glasses. If you missed the ad, it's at least got an attempt at humor.
Hey, better delete that video.
But if it was something that introduced you to the Ray-Bans and you're interested in them, I will tell you I'm still really enjoying mine, and I can't wait to see what they do with the HUD in it this year. Speaking of football, if you haven't been following NFL Pro Era, probably the biggest football game officially licensed with the NFL on the MetaQuest, there has been some controversy going on in that community lately. The head-to-head mode had been promised for a while, and they sadly had to announce that it was not going to make it out during the 2025 NFL season, disappointing a lot of fans and especially the early play testers of the game. They're still saying that it's coming, but that it was not up to scale of what they wanted, and it's one of those just very vague promises that doesn't really tell you when it's coming, but that it is still coming. It reminds me that I bought a sub pack 5 years ago now, and I still continue to get emails telling me what's going wrong with the parts and that it's still coming, even though it's been 5 years. For the NFL Pro Era fans out there, how do you feel about that news? Is it big news in that community? Is it affecting you? Or is it making you regret any purchasing decisions you might have made? In probably the biggest gaming news we've had in a while, Civilization 7 is coming exclusively to Quest 3 and 3S this spring. Civilization, the wildly popular turn-based strategy game, and a game that I've tried really hard to get into a couple times and never quite could get into it, but it's now coming to Quest and only Quest for VR. They say this is identical to the PC and console versions, but give you a different perspective on the game as well as unique VR and MR features. I'm curious to see how this game ends up doing. It seems like over the years we've gotten more and more of the big IPs, but they're often not the platform pushers that we'd hope they would be. And Civilization is a long-winded game, something that would be tough to keep a headset on and keep the battery running if you have a stock battery strap, but it's supposed to be coming in spring of 2025. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about it. In a classic Quest style move, PSVR 2 has been out a while but has now added hand tracking through the cameras inside of the headset, with Waltz of the Wizard being the first PlayStation VR 2 game to support hand tracking now on the headset. And early reviews so far are saying that the hand tracking is pretty solid on the PSVR 2, nearly keeping up with that of the Quest 3, which has been doing it for years on the Quest lineup. Of course, when you put your hands together, it can be more complex for the computer algorithms to realize what your hands are doing and why it now suddenly sees 10 fingers on one hand, but ultimately that it does quite well, at least in comparison to the Quest. Although if you have never experimented with hand tracking on the Quest, it's not perfect. It's gotten better over the years and it is quite a good experience, but it's not perfect one-to-one hand tracking all the time. And with that, a lot of those drawbacks do make it over to the PSVR 2 as well. Between this and games and sale prices on the PSVR 2, it has left some companies wondering, is it going to make a comeback? I keep meaning to get mine out and play more Resident Evil on it and other games too, but we have some big news coming here for the channel personally. We may be expanding the studios and doing even more for all of you out there, and hopefully that'll mean I'll have a nice dedicated space for the PSVR 2 itself, mixed reality, everything else we're doing here. But how is your 2025 going so far? What are you looking forward to in the world of VR? Let me know in the comments down below. But I want to say thank you once again for being here with me. Thank you for bringing us to 100K. We just hit 100K. That's absolutely wild. I want to make a more official announcement video, so I kind of just save that news for the end here. But there's also some new 100K giveaway stuff going on down in the comments and description too, to thank all of you. But what a year, what a time with the channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in another reality.